are the Eagles legitimate Super Bowl contenders? And at this point, it's kind of up in the air. I don't really know what we've got with this team right now. It's definitely, they need to find their identity. And I think really they got to get back to Barkley. This team lived and died with Barkley last year, mostly lived. The Chiefs look really good right now. The plus side for me as a Chiefs hater is after this Raiders game, I think they get the Commanders, the Bills, and the Broncos, with the Bills and the Broncos being on the road. There's still time for my Chiefs hatred to come forth. And, I'm sure I'll have multiple opportunities to bet against them coming up. So hopefully my bankroll can survive more of this nonsense by the Chiefs.
I'm not quite sure what's going on. That team is in big trouble, and again, still not a big dog to make the playoffs at 1-5. Their defense at least played a little better this week.
I might go to the window and put a little on the Ravens, just to win it all.
Gamble up, take the risk, roll the dice. Strategy and guts gonna change your life. Poker chips and parlays, the games are set. Adam and ODB, you ain't seen nothing yet.
All right, everybody, Gamble Up. Episode 9 is off and running. I'm your host, Dave Schwartz, alongside producer extraordinaire Roscoe P. Coltrane. It's no library this week at all. And co-host David ODB Baker. David, how are you, sir?
What's up?
Just back from your trip back to Alabama and watch Auburn. How was the game?
Yeah. Been pretty excited for this one for a while. One of my good friends, Ankush Mandavia, is a Georgia alum, and I'm an Auburn alum. And so we've been talking about for years, going back. A couple of our other friends, Toby Lewis and Connor Drynan, they've kind of adopted Georgia because of Kush. And yeah, we've been talking about doing an Auburn-Georgia game for years, and finally I was just like, let's just make it happen. So went ahead and reserved an Airbnb, and we got tickets, and we did the whole thing. We did the tailgate, we did the night before, walk campus, just the whole thing. And it was great. Like, any of you guys who are out there who got the opportunity to go to big time college, when I say big time college, I mean big time college football programs. I mean, there's just nothing like it. I mean, I know that we're predominantly pro podcasts, like we talk mostly pro sports and stuff, but the college experience is it's fantastic. Like, just being able to show those guys my campus, and just how everybody is just like so welcoming, and well, it's just such a sense of community. And the game itself was unfortunately not the best of football games. It wasn't very well played on either side. The officiating was awful, and Auburn lost. But yeah, it was pretty cool to have them there and be able to show them something that's like important to me. I mean, I'm 52 years old now. I've been out of college for over 30 years. My Twitter handle is AU for Auburn University. Like, that's like how I identify. And 30 years later, to be able to go back and share something that's so important to me with those guys was pretty special for me. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
So as a Canadian who has never been to a U.S. college football game, I loved the environment that you were talking about, that it's completely different from anything. Like watching Virginia Tech come out to enter Sandman and the whole building's jumping up and down. Like, it seems like just the most amazing experience to have. And I guess primarily it's because it's mostly the student body at games. Like, what's the real reason behind, obviously, you go to a hockey, let's say you go to the Toronto Maple Leafs game in Toronto, most of the seats are taken up by corporate people, and they're all in their suits, and they all show up at the end of the first period, and nobody's really into it. They're talking, they're not watching the game because they're there for other reasons. But if you're a college kid and you're going to an Auburn game, Auburn, Georgia, you're pumped and you're excited, and it's a whole bunch of people together that are aligned.
Yeah, it's not even as much like it starts as like the student, but I think that what makes it special is just that we all have this one thing in common, that like we spent formative years at this place. So, I'm 52. I can talk with a 35-year-old and an 80-year-old, and like we're just all like we spent formative years here. I went to class in similar buildings as them. Like when I walked onto campus, like Haley Center was the tallest building on campus, and it was 30 years ago, and it was 30 years before. And these traditions of rolling Toomer's Corner when we win football games, and Toomer's Drugs that's been there since 1940 something to get a lemonade, and J&M bookstore on the corner. It's just like all these things, like we have a commonality, and that you don't really have in pro football. It's like, you see, I understand like it's a little bit more similar to some areas like Pittsburgh and Chicago and Green Bay and things like that like it's a long-standing passed down tradition through the family, but colleges really is that. Like, that's why like towns like, I don't want to like shit on like certain towns, but towns like Atlanta and LA and Vegas and Houston and a lot of these like towns that are primarily transplant towns, like they don't really have the fan bases and the excitement that the towns like these college towns like University of Michigan and Auburn and Ole Miss and Florida State, and these towns that really only exist because there's a university there and their dads went and their moms went, and it's just like it just gets passed down. My daughter like has never even been to Auburn, and which is kind of embarrassing that I've never taken, but it's just been kind of hard. But like, and she loves Auburn, like because dad loved Auburn. Yeah. And so it's just kind of cool, like that it's that we get that.
That's awesome. What are like? Is there a lot of Georgia fans in the stadium? Like, is it a adversarial thing or is it more friendly?
Well, there were some Georgia fans, but it's more of a friendly environment. It's more of a friendly bickering. Like there are schools like LSU, and like maybe even Florida that are more adversarial, and kind of just rude to people that show up. But when you go to like Ole Miss or Auburn, or I think Georgia, some of these we love our school and campus and city so much that it's like, hey, see what we love. Like you can love your school, but like appreciate what we have here. And I think that's kind of cool about like most SEC schools are that way. I'm not really sure how it is in the Big Ten, but I know most SEC schools, it's kind of like, we take pride in our stuff, but we're not like ugly to you guys. But I'm excited to see. The whole idea was, I'll take Kush and the guys this year, and then you guys, take me next year to Georgia. And so we're planning on doing Georgia Auburn next year in Georgia. So that'll be fun. But yeah, it's kind of it's cool, and it was fun, and I mean I still love it. I'm still a college fan at heart.
I have a quick trivia question for you. Which SEC school has the highest acceptance rate?
I'll say Mississippi State.
Close. Ole Miss accepts 98.5% of applicants.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's surprising. Wow. I would have thought Ole Miss was like the harder school of the two.
98.5%. You gotta basically flunk high school to not get in.
How do you get rejected by Ole Miss? Lots of firings.
Yeah, if you're that 1.5%, I don't.
It's time to reevaluate, right? At that point. Some high-profile firings, Dave, in the coaching ranks in college football. James Franklin from Penn State.
Yeah.
What's Auburn's situation like?
Yeah, so we've lost 3 in a row, and we have Hugh Freeze, who, look, college football is so demanding these days. The sponsorship and the NIL money and everything is it's so crazy out there right now. It's the Wild West in college football, and it's crazy that like James Franklin was number 1 in the country and had his team with the lead playing Oregon 3 weeks ago. Like they were the favorite to win the national championship. And 3 weeks later, he's fired, and he got fired. All the rumors are Adidas got him fired. Adidas is the shoe sponsor and the clothing sponsor of Penn State. And they were like, you got to get rid of this guy. And so it's kind of interesting. Auburn, we have Hugh Freeze, and we just haven't been very good on the field, but off the field, we're crushing it. Like we're getting all these high profile players, and there's going to come a time where they're just going to hit the transfer portal and leave. And we got to start winning some football games. I'm not sure how good of an actual coach he is. I know he's a damn good recruiter. And that's kind of the first step, but man, you got to be able to put some points on the board. I mean, we've got some of the best receivers that have been recruited in all of college football, not just the South. And for some reason, we can't score more than 10 points a game. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence of what I want to do with Hugh, because when you rebuild, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to rebuild. Penn State, I mean, for all the criticism that Franklin's gotten, he was in the national semis last year. He had his team number 1 3 weeks ago. He's got lots of recruits, but I don't know. I mean, they might just be a machine and might be able to just retool. I'm sure they're going to get Matt Rule probably. But yeah, I don't really know where Auburn goes from here. I don't really know if we fire Hugh, like what's next. We tried to get Lane Kiffin last time. He didn't want to leave Ole Miss. They talked about Dion. I'm glad we didn't get him. He's just a sideshow. So it's just like, I don't really know what's better out there. We got to make a big splash and try to get like some retired or old NFL coach like John Gruden or something. I mean, we saw what happened to Belichick. So I don't really know where we go from here. I'm willing to let it ride out just a little while longer and see. If we start losing guys in the portal, that's when like it's time to go. But as long as we're still getting the talent, maybe we need a new coordinator. I'm not really sure.
Well, all right, let's take a spin through week 6. What happened in week 6 in the NFL? We'll go through some of the games here and not spend much time on sort of the boring games, but some interesting stuff came out of some of these games. And the first one I want to quickly touch on is the Eagles. They lose to the Giants Thursday night, 34-17. They just looked sloppy, some terrible tackling, Hurts missing wide open receivers behind coverage. He threw a bad interception. Barkley fumbled. The Giants, I thought, looked pretty good. Obviously, Jackson Dart and that whole thing with him in the concussion protocol was hilarious. But we talked to, or you did specifically, early in the season when we started doing the NFL stuff about their D-line and how good it is. The switch from Russ to Dart has changed their offense, and Scadaboo looks really good. Generally thoughts on the Eagles. And I know the Giants are still considered hot garbage and stuff, but they didn't look too bad here.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on with the Eagles? I mean, they've kind of pulled the Penn State here. They went from like the number 1 clear best team to like, what are we doing with this team 3 weeks later? And, they have a big test coming up this week against Minnesota. Hopefully we'll talk about this one in the preview portion, but definitely feels like this is a spot where you just gotta choose where you think the Eagles are going to go. And I guess we'll get to that when, my thoughts on it. But yeah, this is a pivotal time in the season because, are the Eagles legitimate Super Bowl contenders? And at this point, it's kind of up in the air. I mean, I don't really know what we've got with this team right now. And it's kind of, it's definitely, they need to find their identity. And I think really they got to get back to Barkley. I mean, this team lived and died with Barkley last year, mostly lived. And I feel like maybe they're just trying to make everybody too happy, and it's like it's time to get back to the roots. As for the Giants, yeah, they were impressive for sure. They're still a little devoid of talent, so I'm not really sure what the outlook looks like. It's like I said on the very first pod. The Giants aren't a team that I'm going to love consistently, but they're definitely a team I don't really want to pick against too much in Survivor, just because I think that they definitely have pop-up mentality. And this was a pop-up spot at home at night versus the division rival. Definitely a good pop-up spot.
As somebody with Hertz in fantasy, I loved watching the 4 straight Tush Pushes. I might be the only one, or it's only enjoyable to those of us with Hertz in fantasy. What thoughts on watching them run 4 straight Tush Pushes? I mean, it can't be stopped at this point.
Yeah, it's basically like their identity at this point. And when your identity is, trying to move to get 1 yard, taking four tries to get 2 yards, like, yeah, you need to have a new identity. But it is. I mean, the thing about it is, as much as we just want to like rag on it and everything, you watch the Ravens game, and the Ravens had multiple tush pushes from the one. They didn't get in. Auburn was up 10-0 at the 1 yard line, and they did a tush push, and he scored a touchdown, but they said that he didn't get in and that he fumbled it. And that was the turning point in the Auburn game. We're seeing tush push just continually not work for other teams. So, as much as we want to make fun of the play and whatever, you do have to somewhat give credit to them for their execution of it. And yeah, it definitely needs to be factored in, and that's just, they can call different plays when you know that you have this play in your bag. There was a play, I think, in the Bears Commanders game where it was like 4th and 2 or something, and they just like ran this long developing play the Bears ran, and it just hit me at that point. Well, I mean, obviously it has before, but I was like, the Eagles just have this cheat code where they don't have to run a long developing play from that spot.
Right.
And much like the Eagles are, how good they are on those 4th and 1s, kind of also you see it from the best teams. You see teams that just have an identity on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, and the Eagles have that. The Chiefs just always seem to be able to get Mahomes in space where, like, if the DBs converge on him, he flips it to whatever receiver is 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. You have the Rams have their identity of just kind of like the quick toss to Nakua. These good teams just have go-to plays on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2. And so until the Eagles lose that, like, they're still a formidable team as far as I'm concerned.
The amazing thing to me about this play is that it's not like a skill play. It's just a play of being big. They do the exact same thing every time. Your center, your 2 guards are huge. They're really good at it. It's not like, how about the Jamar Chase catch that he makes this week that nobody else makes a catch? You just kind of tip your hat. Well, this is just 3 guys or 5 guys going forward as fast as they can with a simple formation where everybody pushes Hurts. Like you were saying, like you said, that it doesn't work for everybody, and I'm at a loss why it doesn't. It's not a skill play.
I mean, the Hurts squats like 700 pounds or something. I mean, like, his strength. But yeah, I mean, look, strength is a skill. Maybe not a skill, but it's an attribute. Until football dies and turns to flag football, like, strength is going to be an attribute. People, they go to the combines in Indianapolis every year to see how fast guys can run and how much they can bench, how much they can squat, because at the end of the day, it's still a strong man's competition. And it's speed is part of that, and awareness and stuff. But there's a reason why these guys who are the most athletically gifted are continuously drafted at the top. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, the Eagles have figured out a skill to be able to do it better than others because there are other strong guys and there are other really good offensive lines and they don't do it. They don't do it with efficiency. So there's got to be something that they're doing. And I mean, I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on Tush Push and like, when it finally gets banned in 20 years from now and they just talk about like, they start interviewing like Hertz and Kelsey and these guys and what they did that made it so efficient and where they had to legislate this play out of the game. Because eventually it's going to happen. I mean, somebody's neck's going to get crunched in that spot. And eventually that's just got to go away.
Broncos beat the Jets in London. Your Broncos beat the Jets in London 13-11. Nothing at all happened in that game that's interesting. I mean, you got through it, just happy to get through it?
Yeah, I mean, I called, I don't know if I did on this show, but the other shows that I do, I said that Broncos on serious upset alert here. I thought the Jets would give them trouble in this spot. I mean, it makes total sense that this would be a look ahead spot and coming off of the Eagles win. So yeah, I'm just happy to get the win. For the first time all year, I didn't bet Broncos spread. I didn't bet anything on this game. I would have, if I was going to just bet it, I was going to bet the Jets with the points. I knew this game would be close. That being said, the Jets aren't just a complete disaster of a football team and organization right now. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this game, except they got through it. And sometimes maybe good teams need to have that wake up call. And we'll see if they wake up next week for the Giants.
The Colts beat the Cardinals 31-27. I thought Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good. Danny Dimes continues to roll that offense. Taylor, Warren, both fantasy studs. Colts kind of survived this one. Felt like that they probably should have won that one. But again, Brissett I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be fine if we don't talk about the Cardinals anymore.
Nothing there. Okay. Chargers barely squeaked by the Dolphins. One game I did kind of think was impressive, and it's the Patriots. And yeah, it was New Orleans, but they're in New Orleans and they win 25-19. Drake May just looks like, I don't know, one of the breakout star this year, one of them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that quarterback class was just really something. They said it at the time, but I mean, you had the number one pick was Caleb, who is starting to come into his own, finally has a coach. Jaden Daniels, last year's rookie of the year. Drake May went third. We haven't seen anything out of JJ yet, but he's been hurt. Penix led an impressive victory this week, and Bo, y'all know how I feel about Bo. So, I mean, a pretty impressive class. The Patriots, yeah, definitely coming off of that Bills win. I thought this could be a sleepy spot. They had every call go against them. The officiating in that game was awful. And they still managed to win the football game on the road. As a young team, that's impressive just to get that done in that type of situation.
Steelers beat the Browns. Aaron Rodgers building some rapport there with DK looks pretty good for them going forward. The Panthers beat the Cowboys 30-27. Bryce Young looking pretty decent there as well, coming around maybe a little bit. And the mighty Seahawks beat the Jaguars 20-12 in Jacksonville. Seahawks D, and this is one of the things we're going to look forward to going forward here, especially in that division where their D is very good, and D goes a long way in this league. And Darnold not too bad at this point.
Yeah, this was a game that I really liked for most of the week. I was really going to love the Seahawks. I thought it was a really good spot. Jacksonville coming off that Kansas City Chiefs win. I got off it right before game time and just kind of stayed off the game. Just the secondary injuries in Seattle worried me, but very impressive. Very impressive. They go and they take care of business with losing a lot of their secondary. They managed to basically hold Jacksonville's offense to basically nothing. I mean, not very much at all. The Seahawks are definitely a contender in the NFC, but I mean, at this point, who's contenders and who's not? Like, I mean, in the NFC, it's like
everybody
even. So, I mean, Yeah, I definitely think that I definitely think we haven't heard the last from the Seahawks.
Rams take care of the team we've talked a lot about, and we talked about this game, predicted that this was going to happen. The Rams beat the Ravens. The Ravens are now 1-5. Not sure when Lamar's back. Cooper Rush is not the answer there. I'm not quite sure what's going on. That team is in big trouble, and again, still not a big dog to make the playoffs at 1-5. I don't know. Their defense at least played a little better this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, I don't know. I might go to the window and put a little on the Ravens, just to win it all. I mean, I just, there's just nobody separating themselves. Everybody's losing. Like, they got to get to 10-7, and I look at the schedule, and if Lamar comes back and they get a couple pieces, I'm not completely sold on 7 teams being better than them in the AFC. There's a lot of them play each other and whatnot. The problem is there's a lot of free wins out there with some really terrible teams in the AFC, and that may end up spelling the Ravens' doom. But yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what you think of the Steelers-Bengals this week, if you should wait another week, because if the Steelers beat the Bengals this week, you'll even get a bigger price on the Ravens to go deep. But look, I liked them at 6-1 to start the year, so I mean, maybe if I can get them up towards like 30, kind of might
20.
be interesting.
It's 20 right now to win the Super Bowl, 11 to win the AFC Championship.
That's crazy, right? They're 1-5, and not only 1-5, but 1-5. And if the defense has basically gotten dismantled every week except last week, so it's kind of crazy that we're talking about this team at 1-5, who has the same record as the Dolphins, the same record as the Tennessee Titans, worse record than the Raiders. It's kind of crazy to think about, but I mean, that's the power of Lamar.
Those Raiders beat the Titans. Green Bay beats Cincinnati at Lambeau. Tampa Bay at home beat the 49ers. And the game we were all looking forward to on Sunday night last week was the Kansas City Chiefs, who looked very good in dispatching of the Lions. Really, the offense is clicking, and they get Rashid Rice back. So, thoughts on that Lions game that the Chiefs just sort of shut them down?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I just have to acknowledge that the Chiefs are good. I mean, I guess, right? I mean, you can only run the bit for so long before like they just continually just prove you wrong. I mean, I've been more impressed with the Chiefs in the last 2 weeks than I have been in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I wish that I could sit there and blame the refs or blame the injuries on the Lions or whatever. I mean, believe me, it hurts to my soul to not, be able to sit up here and have excuses. But, I got to be true to what is real. And what's real is that the Chiefs look really good right now. The plus side for me as a Chiefs hater is, after this Raiders game, I think they get the Commanders, the Bills, and the Broncos, with the Bills and the Broncos being on the road. So there's still time for my Chiefs hatred to come forth, and I'm sure I'll have multiple opportunities to bet against them coming up. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully my bankroll can survive more of this nonsense by the Chiefs. So.
All right, I want to talk about the Monday game a little bit. And this is the Atlanta Falcons at home beating the Bills 24-14. And I want to ask you how good this Falcons team is, because they lost a close one to the Bucs in week 1. And since then, they've beaten the Vikings, Commanders, and now they've beaten the Bills. They got smoked by, was it Carolina? I can't remember. But they beat 3 good teams. And, I don't know. And on the flip side, how good are the Bills? They're 4-2. They barely beat the Ravens. They beat the Jets. They beat the Dolphins, and they beat the Saints. So have they beat anybody yet? I would say no, they probably haven't. Thoughts on both of these teams?
I mean, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, they all have a lot in common. And what that is they all three have Superman at quarterback and very poor supporting casts. And when they face teams that can somewhat match their Superman, they struggle. And the Bills aren't very good right now. I kind of did a power ranking before that game, and I had the Bills first in the AFC, but it was not that I believed in the Bills. It was just I just didn't believe in anybody else in the AFC. And it's like now I don't believe in the Bills. So it's like,
Chiefs.
who do I really believe in? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's just the Chiefs. But I mean, it's like, okay, so maybe if you have the Chiefs 1, like who's 2? It's not the Steelers. It's not the Colts. Is it the Broncos? I mean, most people don't think so. It's just, I don't know. Nobody's any good, to be honest. Nobody's good. And that's what's so great about this year is nobody's good. So we're going to have some very competitive games. I don't know where the Bills end up falling in the grand scheme of things. They have a week to get it right. They really need a playmaker. Keon Coleman's not it. Shakir's a nice secondary piece. When Kincaid's your best offensive pass catcher, like you got problems. I mean, he's a mid-range tight end. Yeah, the Bills have some serious issues. As for the Falcons, I think they're a good home team. Big test this week in San Francisco. But this Bills game kind of lined up well. What are the Bills really bad at? Stopping the run. What are the Falcons really good at? Running the football. So that's kind of somewhat predictive that they may have struggled in this situation. The Falcons on the road, they're a different team. They got beat 30-0 by the Panthers. I don't know. I mean, they did go to Minnesota and have a nice game. The defense is looking pretty impressive. So I don't know. They get a banged up Niners team this week, but I think this might be a spot where I'd be probably looking to fade the Falcons coming off of this big time win on national TV on a Monday night, now having to go outside, face a much better coach team than they are. I think this is a really good sell spot for the Falcons. I'm not really a lover in the Niners in general, but I feel like this is a pretty good spot for the Niners to get this Falcons team when everybody just saw them beat what we think is a top couple team in the NFL, and beat them pretty soundly. That wasn't a fluke. That wasn't a fluke win. They got a field goal blocked. They played for the field goal there at the end when they could have probably scored a touchdown. I mean, this game they could have put more points on the board if they needed to. So, I believe in the Falcons. I think they're a good team. But I don't really love their spot this week.
All right, let's rank while we're talking about how good teams are, let's rank these one-loss teams. We've got the Steelers, Colts, Bucks, and Packers are one-loss teams, right? I think that's our 4 one-loss teams.
Wow. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, totally. And we said it before, but this is going to set up for an amazing playoff push at the end of the season because all these teams are bunched. Some of these teams aren't very good that are 5-1, and some of these teams that are 3-2 or 3-3 or 4-2 are really, really good. So it's going to be this amazing finish, I think. But anyway, sorry, back to the question on how you rank those 4 one-loss teams.
Well, I don't believe in the Steelers, not one bit. So, I mean, they're just going to be 4 for me. I just don't believe in this team. It's crazy that the one time I took a stand on the Steelers is the one game they lost against the Seahawks. I put a lot of Survivor on it, and it was my favorite pick of the week. I've just been awful with the Steelers, to be honest. But I just don't believe that this team is going to stand the test of time. They faced a very, very easy schedule so far. The Patriots game was a fluke. I just don't believe in them. I'm going to put the Colts next at 3. I think they're better than. I mean, I've said from the beginning of this show that I thought that the Colts were going to be better than people thought, but again, if you look at their schedule and the quarterbacks they faced, it's Jacoby Brissett, it's Geno Smith, it's Tua, it's I don't even know. Bo put up 28 points on them. The only quarterback that they faced all year that, like, I think that you would say is a top quarterback is Stafford, and they put up a lot of points on him. So yeah, I'm not sure that they're in the upper echelon of teams, and so I'm going to put them third. The Bucks. The Bucks have done the crazy thing about the Bucks is they've just done all this with the injuries. So, I don't know. I guess I have to put them 2 and the Packers 1, but I don't really believe in this Packers team, to be honest, either.
Really?
So I think they're all kind of fraudulent. I don't really love any of these 1-loss teams, and I'd be happy to book. You can have all the 1-loss teams to win the Super Bowl, and I'll take everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not buying any of these 1-loss teams, to be fair.
All right. I thought this might be fun if we do this each week and who you have in your Super Bowl as of this week. And then so we can see how it changes over time, if teams get better, if teams get worse. If the Super Bowls, if I had to pick the Super Bowl teams right now, I got Chiefs Lions. Who do you got?
Man, this is a tough one. I'm sticking with the Rams in the NFC. I think the Rams are the most complete team in the NFC. I think they have the best quarterback, the best set of weapons, good defense, good coach. The AFC is a lot harder. I'm out on the Steelers. I'm out on the Colts. I'm out on the Jags. Chargers are too beat up. I mean, it's the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Bills, and the Ravens. Like, those are the 4 teams, I think. I mean, I guess I'd have to say the Bills at this point, but I don't feel good about them. I mean, I honestly want to say the Ravens still, which is crazy. I mean, my heart wants to say the Broncos, but that seems a little too much homerism. And
Say,
I mean, I'm never you know I'm not taking the Chiefs. I just can't do it. I just cannot. I just can't. So I guess I'll say for right now, today, episode 9, give me the Bills and the Rams. And that would be a pretty great game considering what they did last year.
It would be. We saw Brian Callahan get fired this week. How it took this long, I'm not sure. Who do you got getting fired next? Who's on the hot seat? Who's in trouble?
Crazy. Why did Callahan get fired? I thought he was doing a great job.
God. These are billion-dollar fucking teams. Like, it's beyond me how this...
Man, the fact that he won that Cardinals game and then just proceeded to, I don't know.
Okay, how hard is being an NFL coach? How hard is it?
It's hard. It's hard.
Talk to me
hard,
why is it hard?
You got to manage 11 strong-willed coaches that all have agendas, families, lives, groupings. You've got to make sure that they're all on the same page. You've got to deal with the media, which is a full-time job. You got to deal with the development of these young players. You got 52 guys. You've got these guys. These are 22
to win games. You have to win the game, not lose the game.
Yeah, you got a bunch of 22 to 30-year-old like guys who have always been the shit everywhere they've gone, from peewee to high school to college. Like, these are the best of the best, little babies. Just managing the whole thing and putting in a game plan and dealing with the media.
You got to deal with the owner,
the owners, the fan. It's a hell of a job. That being said, some guys just get it and some guys don't. And Callahan just didn't get it, obviously. Who's the next one gone? I mean, let's look at the worst teams in the league. I don't think Dable's going anywhere right now. He's got the team working. I mean, I know the easy answer is Aaron Glenn, it's not going to be Aaron Glenn.
He's
They're
so
not,
bad.
They're not imploding that thing.
Yeah.
Look, when you hire a guy and it's his first season, you got to give him more than 6 games. Like, the whole point was you brought in Justin Fields to be a bridge to rebuild this organization. You knew this team wasn't good. I mean, obviously the answer's got to be Mike McDaniel, right? I mean, it's got to be the Gordo lookalike down in Miami. I mean, it has to be him, right? It just has to be. I don't even know who else it would be. If they lose to the Browns, Dylan Gabriel, I mean, that's probably the end of it. I don't even think like who's even a second tier. I mean, the worst teams in the NFC are the Saints. They're happy with Kellen Moore. They just hired him. Yeah, I mean, Canales is doing fine. Like there's nobody else. I mean, it's just Glenn, Dayball, or McDaniel, and maybe Gannon. I mean, Gannon's a long shot a potential to get fired. Maybe Zach Taylor if the Bengals continue to be just unresponsive. But I don't know. I think most guys are pretty safe right now. It's got to be McDaniel. That's kind of the only one that I could see going anywhere in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
I was just going to say that on Sunday the the Browns defense could concuss Tua again and then win like 6-0.
Yeah, that
we should laugh.
I'm not sure how. I don't know how many games are this Sunday, but like we always have to choose like 8 games with our TV setup, and sometimes there's 9 on, and if there's 9 on, I already know which one we won't be watching, and that's Browns Dolphins.
These on Browns
sure.
Football. All right, let's look back
the worst game of the week
at some of the wagers you made and some of the contests you're in as well for week 6. Games you loved. You loved the Detroit Rams and Cowboys. You were 1-2 there, bringing your season record to games that you love to 7-6. You're basically up. You're even with the juice here in the games you loved this year. The games you liked, you were better off there. You were 3-2 in the 5 games. Bringing your record to 14-13-1 over the season. You're also even with the juice there, or maybe stuck a little bit. I mean, it seems like you're kind of breaking even this year so far. Do you think? And we've talked each week about the survivor picks and the consensus and how they've done against the spread. Your picks against the spread. How confident are you that you've got more of a handle on sort of the league at this point? 6 weeks into the season, a third of the way. We're a third of the way into the end of the season.
I'll be honest, I haven't really felt that great about a lot of the weeks so far. This week was the first week where I looked at the opening lines and I was like, I think there's some spots that I can get to this week. So I'm hoping to have some more conviction a little bit later in the week. But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm starting to identify some spots that I'm going to like coming up this week. So I'm hopeful for this week that we'll get things more on track. I mean, treading water sometimes is what you need to do. Just don't get buried when things aren't going your way. Kind of like in a tournament, like sometimes you just got to survive with your 20 big blinds until, you catch a rush. And yeah, I don't think I've had the best feel for things over the first few weeks and or the last few weeks, I guess. And I mean, obviously I've been absolutely terrible at Steelers games. I'm a little too confident on most of my anti-Chief stuff. So yeah, there's a couple teams that I've kind of been struggling with and kind of been putting them too much in the confidence pile. So yeah, I just I feel good. I feel good moving forward.
Sorry, I just wanted to quickly ask while you were on that topic about like personal biases and how hard it is, because you strike me, as I know you, you're a self-aware type person. Some people aren't, some people are, but you kind of can identify some of your personal biases, Broncos, Steelers, maybe Seahawks that you didn't like at the beginning. How important is that as a gambler to come around and kind of A, be self-aware about it, and B, look at it objectively as much as you can?
My friends over at Gridiron Gamble, check out their pod if you haven't listened to them. But One thing I said in an interview with them after I won Super Contest a few years ago was, don't be stubborn. And that's something that I found that those guys at that podcast were at that point, and they've gotten a lot better at it. And it's something that I've been working on myself is don't be stubborn. And when you have a take, you don't have to stick to it for the entire season. And a lot of times we get into this thing, this guy sucks, this coach sucks, this team sucks, this guy's great. But the reality is these are human beings and they have brains and they have outside influences, and there are people who are constantly changing. They're changing, they're evolving, and they get better and they get worse. It's just like, you and I are both golfers. Sometimes we go out and we just got the lefts. Like we're just pulling the ball every time. And it's like, okay, if I play golf with you once and then I go play with you a year later, I'm like, oh, this guy always hits it to the left. I'm going to bet big because this course hurts people who pull it to the left. You're a human being that's working on your game constantly. And, hopefully at some point you learn, oh, I'm just getting my left arm through a little quick. Like I'm turning over my wrist too quick, and then you solve it. And then all of a sudden you don't have the lefts anymore. Like that's just kind of like these quarterbacks, like they have smart people watching them play. And just because this guy is terrible and he can't hit this certain pattern doesn't mean that he's not going to get to that point. Just because these coaches don't know how to call timeout at the end of the first half, they're smart enough guys that they should be able to learn how to get better at those positions. So there's all these things that so my main thing that I've really tried to implement over the last 4 or 5 years is don't be stubborn. But I know that I am. I know I have blind spots, like especially with like the Chiefs. This year it's a little bit with the Broncos. A lot of it also is like, when you make a preseason pick on a team, this is why I tried to do as few futures as possible this year, because I just didn't want to get blinded by, like I have significant money in play with the Broncos futures. So like, I don't want to bet against them. I don't want to pick against them. It's just, so that's why I kind of try not to do that as much this year, but I still trying to be honest with myself and honest with the situation. And that's why, I did pick the Jets last week because I didn't, but yes, to answer your question, don't be stubborn, be self-aware, and be willing to change your opinions. I flipped on the Seahawks. I thought they were bad. Now I think they're decent. That doesn't mean I'm going to pick them every game. I don't like them next week. This week, I don't like them at all. But I did like them last week, and I might like them next week. So just don't get tied to certain opinions because, take new information to light. It's kind of like the same thing like in a poker game. It's like, oh, this guy would never bluff. Like he's not capable of bluffing. And the next thing you know, he gets caught and he's got like some stupid bluff. And you're like, oh, okay, well, am I going to continue to think this guy never bluffs? No. Like you take the new information and then use it. That's kind of how I'm trying to process the NFL.
All right. Circa Survivor Week 6. You played Green Bay, Rams, and Raiders. They all got through. Looks like just chalk all got through this week as opposed to the previous 2 weeks. It's interesting looking at some of the results, and you'll see some teams, some guys kind of going out away from, and we talk about contrarian stuff. I'm going away from the Packers were an overwhelming pick this week. And some guys are out there taking their shot at the Jets or taking their shot at the Cardinals kind of thing, which is great if it gets through and the Packers lose. And all of a sudden you're, again, these guys like you probably have multiple entries and they're kind of, taking a shot with one of them. But a few contrarian guys out there, but they all ended up getting burned except the Seahawks and the Bears. But, and then 5 people got through this far. In the Survivor, in the Circa, all put up $1,000. 5 people didn't put picks in. It just amazes me each week how that happens.
It just happens. But I mean, I'll be honest, like I was super busy this weekend. I had to set multiple alarms on my phone to remember to get the picks in because you don't want to get it in too early because what if news changes? You don't want to be backing a guy and, the quarterback, whatever, in Friday practice runs into a guy and gets a concussion. It's just like you just don't want to be in too early. And then Saturday, people got families, people got lives. It's like, not all of the people in these contests are degenerates like us and don't really do anything except, bet and watch. It's like these good dudes all have lives and stuff. And like I was at Auburn this weekend and I was on a different time zone and, I can see how it gets missed. It kind of just is what it is. And that's part of the appeal of these contests is like, no matter how dead you think you are from from a picking standpoint, you always have some overlay. There's always overlay because that there will always be no picks.
I want to do a podcast and just interview the 5 people who didn't get picks in. Just hear the story about why they didn't get a pick in. That would be a lot of fun. There's 4,400.
You're doing it on an app, and sometimes you just you think that you click confirm and then you didn't, and
Yeah, for sure. 4,400 people left in the Survivor. Each of your entries remaining is worth $4,237, depending on who you have left. Which brings me to, how do the remaining teams that you have in this contest look for as far as team usage goes? How do your entries look?
2 of them are really good. 2 of them I don't think we've used. The only holiday team I think we've used might be Denver. But 2 of them we've used Ravens and Lions, which aren't that great. I think that kind of basically takes us out of the running of the Chiefs this week on the ones where we've used the Ravens and the Lions. The ones where we haven't used the Ravens or Lions or Eagles, we haven't used the Eagles on any of them. We haven't used Washington on any of them. Those are the chalk picks for Thanksgiving and Christmas at this point. We could consider using the Chiefs. But I'm not really sure. I like to leave as many options as open as long as possible on the holiday weeks. But yeah, I mean, so does everybody else. So that's where some value comes in this week with the Chiefs when you have an 11.5 point favorite that, last week when you wanted to get the double digit favorite, you had 53% ownership or whatever it was, 50% ownership. And with the Chiefs, you'll probably be looking in the low 20s or mid 20s. So it's kind of a way for you to get as virtual a lock as possible in the NFL these days at lower ownership. But at flip side, there's a cost with that, and that cost is you're losing your flexibility on the holiday weeks.
The Circa Millions contest after week 6, you've got a team at 17-13, one at 16-14, a couple at 15-15. And then 4 sub 500.
We don't have to talk about this.
The season leader is PPW-4 at 24-6. Surprising that the leader, there's only one person at 24-6. With all those entries, it's a bit surprising that somebody doesn't have a better record than that. But goes.
Man, we've been so close. 17-13. It's like we're just a couple games away from really being right in it. This week we were 3-1 going into that Lions game, and I was feeling good about the Lions early in that game too. Like 18-12 just seems a hell of a lot better than 17-13. But I mean, we're just a couple of 9-1 10-game stretches away from being in it. So. We're still fighting. We're still fighting along. I think we're still live to get in there. Starting to feel things a little better. I'm thinking a 4-1 week's coming up this week.
Grandissimo, they are down to 15 of the 69 that started. One person was eliminated this week with the Eagles. 13 people had the Packers. Was it Blez had the Eagles?
That was the Blez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Blez is out. His 2 entries up in smoke.
Oh, boy. All right, moving on. We were talking about, the general strength of some of the teams here, and I thought
I did on Sunday night. I tried to do power rankings, and I just found that it was so jumbled that I honestly could not differentiate between 1 and 7 in the NFC. And then from 8 to 12 was all pretty much the same as well. And it's just going to be a great NFL season because I feel like the NFC is super deep. And I feel like the AFC is pretty darn weak, to be honest. So yeah, we've got a pretty weak AFC and a pretty deep NFC. So,
They all make for good football
Both
games.
things are very competitive. They're both very competitive. So yeah.
All right. Let's look forward to week 7. Some of the games that struck me as interesting are the Rams, 4-2, minus 3.5 points at the Jags, who are also 4-2. Your Super Bowl pick for the Rams there to go on the road, and you're going to take the Rams there against the Jags minus 3.5.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games. It's in London. It's not really on the road.
Oh, right.
I mean, it is on the road, but it's on the road for both of them. So yeah, I love the Rams in this spot. I think the Jags are somewhat fraudulent. I think the Rams are one of the most complete teams in the NFL. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be on the Rams here. I feel like this number is definitely too short. I think it should be 4. So I'm happy to lay 3, and I think there's even reduced juice out there with the Rams.
We've got the Eagles. We talked about this game earlier. The Eagles, 4-2, minus 1.5 at the Vikings, who are 3-2, coming off a bye. Seems like a spot. And
yeah, it looks like you're a little frozen. I'll just kind of take over on this one. Like the Eagles, I think this has got to be a get right spot for the Eagles. I know that there's a lot of issues with this team, but this Minnesota Vikings offensive line is terrible. I mean, really, really bad. I'm not sure if we're getting hurt McCarthy or Carson Wentz. Either way, I love the fact that this offensive line is so beaten up, and that the Eagles should be getting back Jalen Carter. And this feels like a very good get right spot for the Eagles.
Then we've got the Colts, 5-1 at the Chargers, 4-2. Chargers minus 2.5 points.
Yeah, I think Adam has met his quota of data for the month.
Day in. Do I got to go back to the library?
Next week we will be live from the Vancouver Public Library. Adam's broken up. Yeah, it sounds like you're freezing up, so I'll just take this one as well. Chargers versus the Colts in LA. Chargers only laying 1.5 points. This line feels very short to me. I like the Chargers here. I like them a lot. This is a good bounce back spot. We got a Colts team that hasn't faced a real quarterback basically all year, except for Stafford. He lost that game on the road. And then the Knicks game, where I don't even know how this defense gave up 29 points. The Broncos did, but lost on the leverage call. At cross-country flight, Rams kind of just sleptwalked through last week. I know we're probably going to be without Puka, but I think that the scheme is enough for the Rams to get the job done here. I think the Chargers. I don't even know why I said Stafford. Anyway, these LA teams confused me. But Herbert, I think, can get the job done. I think they can scheme up enough. And Daniel Jones, good quarterback, but I definitely going to like him more at home than on the road.
Maybe just go through your favorite games of this week.
Yeah, I think we just kind of hit on them. I like the Chargers and the Rams. Those are my 2 favorite games. And I'll give one last pick. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with this one, but let's just end it with the Niners with the Falcons coming off of that statement win on Monday night against the Bills. I think this is kind of a good spot for the Niners to be at home and get a team that looked as good as the Falcons did on Monday night. I think they're getting some key pieces back, getting Kittle back almost for sure, maybe Pearsall. So I think this is a good spot for the Niners.
Is Mac Jones still their quarterback? I can't believe he's still in the league.
Yeah, he still is, but I think they might get Purdy back this week. But either way, I think he's done a good enough job. So
yeah, it's amazing how long these guys stick around.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good testament to kind of what's the NFL is looking like these days. We want to write off these guys and they don't have the instant success. But when you take a look at the NFL right now and you've got 3 of the best quarterbacks on teams that are currently in the playoffs, with being Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones, 3 top 10 picks in the NFL draft that were written off as complete failures. It's just the NFL is a coach and quarterback league. And some of these guys take a little longer to develop. Some of these guys got in pretty bad situations with pretty bad coaches. And, yeah, I mean, we want to write off some of these guys, but like, Mac Jones, he was in kind of an unwinnable spot. Like, the end of the Belichick era was pretty darn bad. And, so yeah, I don't know if Mac Jones is it or not, but we shouldn't be so quick to write off some of these guys. So
That's true. Yeah. I mean, they get drafted high for a reason.
yep.
Okay.
So,
Well, Adam's back.
is he back? Is Adam
Partially.
back? Let's see if Adam comes back to take us out of here.
Hello. All right. We're back.
All
Am I
right,
back?
Adam.
You got me.
All right. Don't make me be the defender of Canadian internet providers, okay? All right. This is a skill issue. This is
Well,
not
you have to be the defender because Adam's not connected to defend himself.
There's nobody left. All right. Did we finish the preview? We got all that done?
yeah, basically.
Take us out of here, Adam, while you still
All right.
have internet.
Thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks to my internet provider for being fantastic. And enjoy the football games this week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Let's hang out for a sec. Let me make sure everybody's loaded.
I quit, so hopefully it didn't